Okay, Doc, no problem. Loonatics Unleashed! All new next Saturday morning at 9:30 on Kids WB!
Hey, everybody!
Oh. God damn it, Crosby. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Retro Wars. Introduce yourself, fellow warriors.
Hey, everyone! Concert Fanatic here.
And last but not least, the sarcastic researcher of the Retro Warriors, HazardOfChaos.
And you all know me, Justin, the main voice of Barrock of the Elite Warriors VA. And Crosby, you basically pulled a freaking coy with the Castle Crashers intro here.
What's going on, my lovelies? God damn it.
Well,
You know I go first before you do.
Alright, okay.
Hey, we got a show to record here. Come on.
Alright. So, anyway, I guess review, because that's more entertaining. But anyway, today's episode, we're talking about Loonatics Unleashed.
What a show.
Yeah.
So, I just want to put this right off the bat. Please don't be surprised if this is a one-parter or two-parter only, because unlike Megas, there's not much to talk about here. So, go
No, there really isn't.
So, go ahead and give us a rundown of what the show's about, and like how it's cancellation and all that shit.
Okay, one moment. Basically, what happened was, this was a show that, for better or worse, was not the most popular show at the time, depending on who's asking. But at the same time, however, let's see if I remember correctly. This show was released roughly around the same time frame as Megas XLR. And let's see here. Give me one moment.
Go ahead.
Let's see. This show was first aired back in 2005 to 2007.
That seems about right.
And this was the original release time. As far as I know, it's still being aired in, I think, Spain, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did
But
say...
it's essentially been taken off the air practically everywhere else.
Yes, because apparently the only way you're going to watch this, people, well, aside from the internet, is if you live in Spain, it's on reruns in Spain. So, good for them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been like that since 2007. Like, apparently it's really popular in Spain enough to get reruns.
Mm-hmm.
This, and of course, when Loonatics Unleashed ended around this time, the Looney Tunes itself went on pretty much a hiatus until 2011.
With the
So
Looney
yeah, that's
Tunes
roughly
show.
a good 4 years.
After what we watched in Loonatics, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that I might as well give the establishment here. Loonatics Unleashed is essentially about 6 heroes who are essentially descendants of 6 of the original Looney Tunes characters, if you also count Space Jam as well. You have Ace, who's Bugs' descendant, Lexi, who's Lola's descendant, Danger Duck, who's Daffy's descendant, Slam Tasmanian, who's a Tasmanian Devil's descendant, Tech E Coyote, who's, well, Wile E. Coyote's descendant, big surprise, and Rev Runner, who's obviously Roadrunner's descendant.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
And oh, good lord, the names they went through. The names.
We'll worry about that later. But let's just say, from what we watched, comparing to them of how they were based off of, they really don't seem to be the descendants well enough.
Yeah.
No, actually, it depends on how you look at it, in my honest opinion.
That's true, but I mean, it's what I mean. Like, given in situations how Aces wasn't really acting like how Bugs would act, and Daffy was being more, and Danger was more egotistical than how Daffy originally was. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Though, to be fair, I think that was intended on purpose, because, remember, these are the descendants of the characters they take after, so...
Yeah, I get
there you go.
I feel like they really do it well, is that's the right word to say?
Like, how it... essentially, there were some issues with as I said, the name changes with the characters. Not to mention they had went through maybe 2 or 3 redesigns before they finally settled on something that was approved by, I guess, the majority, if you will.
Alright. But let's talk about. Speaking of the Lunatics, let's just talk about the characters. Let's start off with Ace. What do we know about Ace, people?
Well, he's a leader.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He basically. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
It's okay. Just know, like I said, depending on how many parts this is, it's kind of eh. But yeah, Ace, the guy, is the leader of the group. He has a sword. I don't get why. But
it's actually somewhat explained in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll talk about our feelings on season 2 later. But anyway, it's weird how a guy was when people have powers and they have weapons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It depends.
But
I mean,
yeah,
the weapons to supplement their abilities or some crap like that.
I guess. But anyway, Ace is the leader. He's the son of Bugs Bunny, and his power, or if you're a My Hero Academia person, quirk. His quirk is where he's basically got the generic shooting laser beam from his eyes.
It's more than just that, actually. He also has optic enhancement, or basically enhanced eyesight. So, in other words, he can essentially be a sniper.
In other words, he's got like two things like Superman does: heat vision and optic enhancing of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Do you guys want to put your inputs on Ace?
Basically, he tends to with my honest opinion on Ace is that they seem to try a little too hard with his personality to be like Bugs. But considering what was the alternative at the time, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering I found out that originally they were going to name him Buzz Bunny.
Oy vey.
But that name was trademarked. Thank God.
Yeah.
Trossie, what do you think?
What do you think, Crossy?
Like, he's sort of a generic leader trope kind of dude. I mean, like a cliche leader trope or something like that. I mean, meh.
Would you find that a good thing or a bad thing?
I kind of find it a good thing.
Fair enough.
He's an okay leader. I mean, like, he does have a good plan on his head, but most times I feel like the other members have more plans. And
or basically contribute more at times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That depends on who's asking, to be fair, because there's some that could be far, far worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. Next up is Lexi Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, should we even bother talking about the voice actors or nah?
Well, we might as well at least mention in passing. With Aces, it was Charlie Schlatter, who was he was best known for playing Dr. Jesse Travis, the student of Dr. Mark Sloan and Dick Van Dyke. And he was in Diagnosis Murder. Let's see, and he's been primarily a voice actor, and according to his filmography, especially in animations, he was apparently part of the Ferris Bueller movie, I believe, or the TV series, I forget which.
Mm-hmm.
But he was Ferris Bueller. And in terms of, he was actually one of the villains in Captain Planet.
Huh.
Ah.
We might. Who knows? Soon enough, the Retro Warriors might review Captain Planet because that was a good show.
Not only that, but Charlie Schlatter, big surprise, peeps. If you've ever watched Ben 10, he actually voices one of the villains turned good guys, Kevin Levin.
Good lord.
I wish I was joking, but it's true. Look it up.
I know. I believe you. I mean, why wouldn't I believe you? You're the research dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got technical stuff all over your outfit, man.
All right. Anyway, good lord. Anyway, let's move on. Next up is Lexi Bunny. She, who remembers what her abilities are or quirks?
All right. She basically has enhanced hearing, her psychic brain blast abilities, and chlorokinesis, which is basically plant manipulation. Which, if you think about it, puts her in a similar state to Poison Ivy from Batman.
Yeah, so she's got some telekinesis, weird form of telekinesis and all that. So what should we say about Lexi?
If anything, she's sort of like just something for the female demographic, or for any fanboys out there to vote the job Rule 34 or something like that. But
So I feel like she doesn't seem to act much like her ancestor Lola Bunny, to be honest, because given what we know about Lola and many different styles, like there's basketball version in Space Jam, there's the one in the freaking Looney Tunes show who is obsessed with bugs. You can have many versions of Lola Bunny, but I feel like Lexi doesn't really act like her ancestor sort of way. You know what I'm saying?
Which actually works to, you know, move her away from the whole, oh, she's basically supposed to be like Lola, but that just establishes even more that she's not her ancestor. Which is good. She was also voice acted by Jessica DeCiccio, who was the voice for, let's see here. She was Ash Samaya in X-Ray and Vav. She also was Wilhelmina in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. She also did some voice work for Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. And she also voiced Olette in Kingdom Hearts 2.
For any Kingdom Hearts nerds out there, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And she also did some voice work for Final Fantasy Lightning Returns. For those who may like or hate the game, there you go.
Lots of RPG shit.
Yep. Anyway.
Well, yeah, let's move on. Well,
yeah, okay, but anyway, let's move on to the next one. Danger Duck, the descendant of Daffy Duck.
He was voiced by Jason Marsden. And I'm going to say this now. Danger Duck supremely pissed me off by the time Season 2 came around.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see, what did his voice actor voice in?
The voice actor was Jason Marsden, and he did voice work for a lot of shows. I'm just going to name off only a few of them because there's just way too many to list.
And remember,
but basically, he's well known for his role as Max in an extremely goofy movie. He voiced Chester in the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. He also voiced, let's see here if I remember correctly. He also did some acting work for Boy Meets World and Full House. He also was, let's see here. He was also someone, Spunky Spencer in Batman the Animated Series. That was a one-off character, if I remember right. He also did some voice work for Batman Beyond, Invader Zim, Justice League, and he was also one of the main roles for Mucha Lucha, which we'll be eventually reviewing.
Hopefully.
Mr. Ricochet himself, isn't that right?
And also Mr. McCarta, and a few other voices.
So
yes, and he also voiced Chase Young from Shaolin Showdown.
The one voice that Sebi wants me to see to do.
Oh, no.
Well, you never know. You might be able to do it, but that depends. I mean, Chase had like 2 voice actors, but we're going off track here.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, Chase Young, one of the coolest villains of Shaolin Showdown, which is another show we'll review, but I digress. Let's just say, comparing Danger Duck to his other voices that we talked about, he's a big asshole.
A big
understatement. Massive understatement. Danger Duck. Ugh.
Alright, let's just say this. We all know how Daffy Duck is this arrogant or greedy or sometimes full of himself asshole. Danger Duck takes that to a whole new fucking level.
What makes him useful is mainly his abilities more than anything else, and his occasional character development.
And what is his abilities, may I ask?
Basically, put power orb randomizers, which lets him toss fireballs that have random effects. Usually materialize objects on occasion. And the effects are extremely random, going from orange juice to tar to explosive eggs to large boulders. And currently to date, he has not been able to completely control the effects of what basically is generated from these orbs. There's also the quantum quack, which is teleporting basically. He can also teleport. He sometimes teleports into solid objects. And then there's his aqua dance ability, which when using his power orbs near water, he can also summon and control water.
Anyway, but yeah, Danger Duck.
What do we say about this asshole? Just thinking about him gives me a headache. Let's get this over with quickly, please.
Alright, let's just say this. Danger Duck is just way worse than Daffy Duck. He makes Daffy Duck look normal.
Yeah.
He just can't
stink.
There are some situations where Danger is useful, or we feel in episodes. but most times in season 1, from what we noticed, he's been mostly just won't keep his mouth shut. He thinks he's better than everyone. He thinks he deserves the spotlight most times. It's just a pain in the ass.
Which explains why most of the screen time and like.
When he's been technically given just as much screen time, if not more in some cases.
Yeah.
But I do have to say this much. Like I said before, he does have some character development. He even reveals in season 2 that he actually knows a villain personally. In fact, and this actually made me feel bad for him until he basically undid my opinion of him the 2 episodes after. I actually had a decent opinion of him following this episode, particularly in the Pinkster. Basically put his childhood best friend, who was like a brother to him, he basically, like, Danger Duck admitted that he felt extremely bad that it came down to a choice between him or his best friend getting adopted. And Danger Duck later admitted that he basically used a 2-headed coin to cheat his way into an adoption. But he said he felt extremely bad for it afterwards and suffered quite a lot of guilt. That actually made me improve my opinion of him. Unfortunately, he changed my opinion 2 episodes later. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danger Duck has those moments, but he's just...
he's a dick.
Yeah, he just needs to learn to shut up once in a while.
Speaking of
any puts on him Crossy, or no?
I have to agree with Hazard's opinion, but oh my god, just what? I could go on, but just no.
Alright.
Like I said, I have a headache just thinking about Danger Duck.
Alright, let's move on. Who's next on the list?
Slam Tasmanian, who was voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. Incidentally, Kevin Michael Richardson also voiced another character we'll be talking about in this series, Tech E. Coyote. And Slam's case, he's a descendant of the Tasmanian devil himself.
And
funny that Kevin Michael Richardson is also best known for his role he's best known for his distinctively deep voices and basically voicing a lot of villains since the 90s. Especially known for voicing the Joker in The Batman back in 2004 to 2008. He also voiced several characters such as Antari from Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
Oh, that's who he voiced. That's neat.
He voiced Antari. He also voiced Action Hank in Dexter's Laboratory. He also voiced the Boogeyman and Powerpuff Girls, the old version, not the reboot. We don't talk about the reboot.
Right.
And he also did multiple voices such as Cleveland Brown Jr. Let's see. He also did some voice work for Invader Zim. He voiced Dr. Payne the Proud Family, for those who remember that series. And voiced Mammoth and Trigon in the Teen Titans series back in 2003.
Which was funny, because when you found that out, that surprised you, which made me laugh.
To be fair, how often do you expect to hear that? Or even come across that information?
Yeah, that's what we have the internet, because it always surprises us. But yeah. Getting back to Slam, to compare his ascendant to Pataz, he's not far off. Except he doesn't eat much animals, he just eats a lot of food and shit. In general, really. That and Slam's past is a bit troubled compared, at least among the team. Before we talk about his past, let's talk about his abilities, shall we? Yep, superhuman strength, literally the strongest guy on the team. It's unknown just how strong he can get. They never really gave an upper limit on that, but he also has something called the Tornado Maximizer. Basically, he can spin like Taz, but it's cranked up to 11. He can even summon tornadoes. Yeah, don't fuck with that. Also has an ability called Thunder Mode, which lets him summon basically mini tornado storms. So yeah, Slam is very dangerous. If pissed off, and thankfully he's a good guy. So what do you want? Considering the villain Letter Vein, yeah, we're lucky Slam's a good guy. Wrong person, he says that too, but okay. Okay, what do you guys think about Slam? Personally, I feel kind of bad for him considering his past. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, if anything. He's sort of like a Broly in a way, because he's a nice dude, he's sweet, he's funny, and if anything, if he just likes to help, and if you just don't piss him off, he's really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Frosty, what do you think?
I sort of think that, like, I mean, I agree with your opinion on that, Justin. And I sort of think he could beat Goku in an eating contest.
I as much as I don't want to bring this up, imagine putting Slam, Goku, and Coop in an eating contest.
I don't know. Slam would probably cheat using his tornadoes to get all that food in his mouth.
He's done it before. No, actually, now that I think about it, he legit ate an entire table's worth of food literally by himself in less than 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
At least
and it was a buffet at that.
Mm-hmm. Give the man credit, he's got the appetite.
What's up, Doc? The future is wild. Loonatics Unleashed. World premiere Saturday, September 17th, only on Kids WB.